One D&D's D20 test. I know what they're trying to do here. So now an ability check, a skill check, a saving throw, an attack roll, they're all classified as a D20 test. Okay, there's always been D20 rolls, D20 checks, D20 saving throws, and essentially a D20 test. It's just terminology. But what is interesting about doing this is that they are kind of, the intention behind it, I believe, is to have all of these follow the same rules, because they don't necessarily follow exactly the same rules. There are some things that are different. Why is that? Tradition, probably. But let's go into this a bit more. A D20 test is basically it's going to be restricted. Now, they've actually specified in the wording, okay, that your target number needs to be no less than 5. 5 is a very easy task. So why the heck are you rolling a 5 in the first place is I don't understand at all. Why you're rolling even a 10, which is an easy task, again, why would you bother rolling this? And then your target number can't be any more than 30. Why are they saying this? Now, 30 is near impossible, so anything greater than 30 is impossible to actually do. Yeah? Does that follow in terms of logic? I think it's logical. Now, likely, I believe the reason that they are stipulating that the target numbers need to be between 5 and 30 is because of this. It's likely because players have exploited the characters' numbers. There are plenty of ways of doing it, whether it be armor class, whether it be a ability check or not so much a saving throw, that's much harder to do, but certainly skill checks and dealing with attack rolls and armor class and stuff like that. I can see where they're going with this. There's another thing and another problem that's probably occurred, which wouldn't surprise me, and I know it does happen because I've heard people talk about it, and that is Dungeon Masters expanding their testing range. The range was stipulated in 5e to be 5 to 30. But there are Dungeon Masters out there that make DCs that are less than 5 and DCs that are greater than 30. And this is a carry-on from older versions of Dungeons & Dragons when we did this with 4e because of the way the maths worked and how characters were structured. We did this back in 3.5 and 3. So I can understand where those Dungeon Masters and even those players are coming from, but they have failed to understand the range exists, even if you don't use 5s and 10s, to give you a benchmark for what the difficulty of a task is. And you stick between the numbers because actually that makes far more sense. It means that higher level characters will always be better at doing things and lower level characters will always be not as good. Okay? Frankly, for me, I think the Dungeons & Dragons 1 or 1 D&D D20 test range should probably be 11, which is greater than easy, through to 30. 11 to 30 would be much smarter. It makes more sense to me. Just because a 5 is very easy and 10 is easy. Why would you bother getting somebody to roll a check for something like that? It doesn't make any sense. It's like we've taken our brain and thrown it into the garbage tin. So one of the aspects of doing this is, and I think this is probably where they're trying to go in many respects, and that is less reliance on the D20 roll to determine success and failure. Okay, this is what we need to actually understand. It's not in the rules, but there needs to be less reliance on a 20-sided dice roll to determine whether you succeed or you fail in every single situation. There needs to be some better guidance from Wizards of the Coast, and there needs to be an acceptance by players and Dungeon Masters that there will be situations where they shouldn't actually need to roll the dice. And we're still working this way. I'm working through this. There are a lot of people who are new to the game, but even people who've been playing for a long time don't actually fall within there are times when I don't need to roll the dice. And they roll dice for everything. Okay? So that's part of what's going on here with the D20 test.